because as a mother, that was first, is I needed to help her. She was in a state of distress. And so, yeah, we also pulled her out of school to attend out of school tutoring for we did the whole Linda Mood Bell for 6 weeks, 4 hours a day. And it helped. Like she became a reader. But that was the time when I said, wait, hold on a second. So you were, as an educator, I'm here working in a school. I have figured out a way to make this happen. It costs us so much money.
So much
How
money.
is it possible that our public school system is not providing this, where all of our children in America are going through this system? It was just,
Look, at Fulcrum, we ran kids through Linda Mood Bell. We called it our Underground Railroad when my co-founder and I first started. We had several kids on the under. We couldn't wait. We could because they
yeah,
could fall in further. So we signed up. Man, that Linda Mood Bell, it is very good and it
mhm.
is very expensive. And my
So it's,
our co-founder Liza Finkelstein said, "Kareem, are we going to save these kids or not?" Straight
mhm,
up. We
yeah,
spent basically all our reserves saving a few
yeah,
kids. And
yeah.
that's really, but you know what? That's what we gonna say these kids or not. I hear
Yeah.
you. In our district, Oakland had a clinic based on the Linda Mood Bell system, partnering with them, but we cut it during budget cuts. So it is best in class. It's very good, but it's so pricey. But we're talking about a free and appropriate public education. That can't be the plan. It just
Nope.
can't be.
Nope.
You know.
Well, and that's what stands behind everything that I do now is that we have to create what's available out there on the public market here in schools, because this is where all of our kids are. And it's possible, right? Like if you were to tell me it's impossible and I had worked through that, then fine, I get it. But it is
Yeah.
possible
Yeah.
and it's solvable.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Claire,
Man.
you talked about, this like your why grounded in your daughter's experience and sort of supporting and navigating through the system and getting her the support and help that she needed. And then you talked about, you jumped forward to this inside out approach where you're starting with intervention and then working your way to tier one. Just in the in between, like
mhm.
what was the spark to this work? And sort of how did you get into this work around structured literacy?
Mhm. So after we got my daughter situated and she's reading and back in school and somewhat successful, and I had that aha moment of, I can't believe this doesn't exist in our public schools. Within that same period of time, my district that I was working in went through a huge budget crisis. And I was getting riffed. And so I was getting riffed, and I was at that point of, I was just so frustrated, and I
You
had
gotta
been
tell people what that means. They may not know what rift means.
I was given a pink slip, meaning that did not have a job for the following year that was guaranteed. I was going to
Last
need to
in,
look for
first
other
out.
work.
Yeah, right.
And I had been doing a lot of self-learning. I had read Sally Shaywitz's book about overcoming dyslexia, and I had attended our SELPA, which is our special education entity in our county, had put on a dyslexia seminar. And so I had attended that and gotten a certification through them around like the basics of dyslexia. And I reached out. So again, I was kind of thinking of like new opportunities. I'm going to need to look for a job. And I had heard that the current superintendent of the biggest school district in our area was also interested in dyslexia. And I just said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to shoot him an email and see if he will set up a meeting with me. And so I did, and he did. And so we set a time to meet, and I came in and I told him my daughter's story, and he had heard some similar stories from either other employees that work for him or parents and such. And he asked me at that time, so what would you do about it? And I pitched kind of my basic idea of what I thought intervention in the public school system could look like for a student who has characteristics of dyslexia. And we talked for about an hour, and he called me and gave me a job about, a couple weeks later, and said, okay, I'd like to bring you on next year. I want you to create this, we called it the literacy program for our school district. I'm going to pair you with the SELPA director, who was also involved, and she kind of helped co-design the program. And we put together a program and rolled it out that fall in one of the lower income schools in that school district. And that was my first experience of creating a program. And then we would meet every Friday afternoon, because that was the only time everyone had any time in their schedules. And we would meet every Friday afternoon as a leadership team and figure out what's next and how to expand and how to evaluate the data, and went through a cycle of just evaluating what we were doing and whether or not it was successful.